Have a seat in my chair with Brittany Nicole. This show is about unlocking the vault on all things hair, from texture, lifestyle, and the psychological effects that we go through from day to day dealing with our hair. Make sure to like and subscribe. Hey guys, welcome back to episode 10. I have a couple of updates for you. I decided that I'm going to do this podcast in seasons. Last week I took off because I was tired. I could not record another episode without getting some rest, but I'm back and ready to give you guys another conversation. My update. So I want to let you guys know that I'm going to start doing this podcast in seasons, and there's going to be 15 episodes per season. That is my goal. I'm going to try my best to fulfill it, but I'm going to take a break after I get to episode 15, and I want to go back and revisit what I did and try to make it better and give you something even better for season 2. So that's just a small little thing. Okay, so today's episode is gonna be about when should you go gray. But before we get to that, you guys know I have somebody I want to shout out, and this person's name is Lyda Newman. Now, in the description, it says it's a female, but when I got to the end of the story, then it said it could be a male. I don't know. Lyda sounds like a woman's name to me, but you never know these days. All types of things come out in history, and we're always so shocked. I know I am, and I don't care who it is, man or woman, because what this person invented was very essential to our everyday needs, hair needs, and I think everybody uses this. So what Lyda Newman invented was the hairbrush. Well, I don't know what to say, he or she, but Lyda improved the hairbrush. So it was one already out, but Lyda was a hairstylist. She or he, I really don't know what to say. I'm sorry, but she or he was a private stylist for a family in New York and decided that the brush needed improvement. And so Lyda patented a brush in New York in 1898 and was also an activist for women's right to vote as well. But anyway, what Lyda did to the brush was created extra space between the rows of the bristles so that when you brush your hair, the debris had somewhere to go. Some brushes, the bristles are really close together, and that's usually more for smoothing. But I think what they were trying to do was try to have something that maybe acted more of like a comb and a brush, which is why I think you would need spaced out rows. Because if it's smooth, like if it's really dense and close together, that's more for like finishing work. But this seems more like they were trying to create something that would smooth and detangle at the same time. That's just my guess. But shout out to Lyda. We needed that brush. I'm sure Lyda helped a whole bunch of people. So I think that's super cool. Another cool Black inventor in the hair industry. So maybe you guys learned something today. Now, usually I talk about like a trend and then my topic, but I want to talk about the trend. The trend is the same topic, so I'm going to sort of mesh it together, but like I noticed that for a while, a lot of people were going gray, and now I kind of see more color coming back. But I think gray, if done correctly, if you want to grow it out is amazing. If you can handle it psychologically. I think some people that are young have a lot of gray and then are kind of lost. The people that are trending gray usually bleach their whole head and artificially dye it gray, which could be cool, but it tends to fade very badly and very ugly. And you typically, I don't know any other case where you don't have to, but you need to bleach your hair basically white so that when it fades, you don't have any undertones of like yellow or strange brassy brown. It's ugly. I think it's ugly. So the artificial gray is just, if you don't do it right, just don't even do it. If your hair is not strong and it's dry and porous, don't try to go gray. There is this one man who I've seen make people that are growing their gray out. He can match the hair that's still dyed at the ends, like if it's black or blonde or whatever. He can strip all that out and dye it to match your roots like perfectly. I'm sure it costs thousands of dollars and your hair is still going to be compromised, but on Instagram it looks beautiful. He's the only one man that I've seen out of all the hairstylists that I follow on Instagram. And, it's talent, but I don't know how to do that because I don't want to know how to do that. It looks like so much work. And for my clientele, I still think we're going to end up screwed because all the bleach that it's going to take, and then when it fades, because it's going to fade, how do we touch that up? Like, I don't even know. So don't ask me for that because I don't provide that service. But maybe someone in your neighborhood or your city or your state can provide you that service. Do I recommend it? No, I don't. Because you guys know me, I care about hair. And that doesn't really seem to be caring about hair. And I understand the vanity of it all. Like, nobody wants two-tone hair. No one wants to grow out gray. And they want to and they don't want to have like colored hair on the ends, whether it's black or brown or blonde. But like, let's face it, at the end of the day, that's going to be part of the problem. If you get color, or even if you're turning gray and you have never had color in your hair at all, and you start turning gray and you don't know what to do, you're still going to have a two-tone situation. Or you're going to have long strings of silver or brown or faded or whatever. Or maybe you have a strong white hairline. It makes you look super old. I don't know. But eventually it's going to be lots of different colors popping off. Now, usually what I've noticed is when people turn gray, there is like a shock to the system. Most people that are young, like before 45, I would say, who start turning gray, start having a little bit of a mental breakdown. And they're like, oh my God, I think I need color. Look at this gray around the edges. What am I going to do? And for me, I'm more trying to avoid what's going to happen, which is the nervous breakdown. So I'm like, okay, well, let's move you into a demi-permanent color. We could just start around the hairline just so you don't have to face it like head on. But we know life be lifing, okay? And the gray is only going to get grayer, and it's only going to get crazier because gray hair is wild, which I will explain why gray hair is so unruly and wild. I'll briefly explain that later. But there is a fork in the road, so to say, that you're going to have to cross when the grays peek out and slap you in the face. And they're going to be like, hello. You can there's 3 choices. 1, not care at all and just let the gray take over and accept it and just be like, you know what? This is what God has given me. I want everyone to see this gray, this wisdom that has been stricken upon me at a very young age. Or you can take my approach, which is I only color my hair when I have somewhere to go because it comes back way too fast for me to be touching it up all the time. Or you can be like the other person or people who can't stand to see the side of it and they want to color it every 2 weeks. Because that's about how long it takes for it to pop up and show its gray-headed face. I really am, what's the word? I don't know if it's like, I don't know if it's admire or, I don't know the word, but the people that stay on it and is like, I care about my image and my look so much that I will never let anyone see gray hair on my head, is just, those people are really fascinating. It's fascinating to me because it's like trying to stop the unstoppable. I don't know, but I'm like, you go, girl. If you care that much, I'm like, cheers to you, because maybe I'm just too tired. I don't like looking at my gray, okay? I hate it, okay? I don't hate it, but I hate it after it starts looking bad, because gray hair right at your scalp can make you look like your hair is thinning. And a lot of people also come and say, oh my God, I think I'm going bald. Look at this. And I'm like, no, girl. It's just the gray. And as soon as we touch it up, your hairline is going to come back. And then we color it and they're like, oh, okay, I'm not going bald. So beware. If you start going gray and you think your hair is thinning, it's probably just because gray appears to look like thin or clear maybe, or non-existent. I don't know. So be mindful of that. But what I think, if you're a person who's like, okay, two problems that I'm seeing. You're like, okay, I'm young, but I have so much gray and I'm sick of coloring it. There are some people who I know, and I hate to say, gray can make you look old. It is a huge possibility that if you go gray too soon, it can age you like 15, 20 years. Even if you have a baby face. And if you have a baby face and you're just like, I just want to go gray, like I'm sick of this color, whatever, 9 times out of 10, people revert back and get color. So go through that if you have to. But number 2 is, you better get a cute hairstyle or haircut if you're gonna go gray. Because if you just have, like, let's just say your hair isn't in the best of shape and you're just like, oh, whatever, I just want to go gray, and you got all these split ends and stuff, you're gonna look like the crib keeper. Okay, don't do it, especially if you're single and you don't got no man and you want to get one, or a partner or somebody. Like, gray can be the image killer, okay? Because most people just look just so tired and dry. And I think if you're under 45, you should really consider just getting some color. You don't have to get color every 2 weeks, but you can get color enough where you're mostly colored and not gray. Because it's gonna be a different look. And I don't know if a lot of you guys are ready for that. You think you are because the maintenance is a lot, but once you actually do it, it's just like really, really sad and depressing for a lot of people. Also, let's say you are older and you've been getting color your whole life, and you're like, you know what? I'm 60, I'm 55, and I'm sick of this. What should I do? Now, what I typically look for when people want to go gray is, what kind of gray hair do you have? Is it silver? Is it white? Is it shiny? Will it look good if we grow it out? You can kind of tell as a hairstylist what kind of gray someone is going to have. Typically people who have like naturally brown or mousy or like sandy hair, don't have the best gray hair grow out, it can look real dusty, just to be honest. So if you have that kind of hair, I would wait until it's really almost 100, well, like 80 to 100% gray. Because if you gray too soon and you have more melanin in your hair, the gray hair, I don't think you're gonna like how it looks. Just my opinion, but I don't think you're gonna like how it looks. But if you have like really dark hair and you start to go gray, I think you could give it a try. There are a lot of women over past their 50s who don't have a lot of gray, who still look really young, and I feel like you don't really have to do it. I think you should just be like, I'm gonna color this or leave it alone, because a couple of strands aren't really that bad. Like, you go outside, people know you're not 25. Like, we know you're not young, so I don't even know why hiding it is such a big deal. Maybe it's like a psychological thing, but like, people know that you're not 20 years old, so I don't need the big rush on coloring the gray, but that's just me. So I think if you feel like you are at the age where you could just go gray, and you're advised, or you know your hair is gonna be the way you want it to be, I say go for it, because coloring your hair all the time can be really expensive. I tell my clients based on, how well I know them, what I think they should do, because by now, like, I've had a relationship. I know your value system. I know what you think of your image. I know what you can and can't handle for the most part about your hair. So I'm going to go off of that. And I know vanity is a really big thing. And I like my clients to feel good about themselves when they walk out of the door. So if I feel like we're going to head down a road that's not going to make you feel good about yourself, I'm about to be like, heck no. You don't need to go gray yet. Like, I get you don't want the maintenance, but not yet, girl. It is not the time. But one thing I always hear when it comes to gray hair is, oh, I just want that gray streak in the front. Oh, that's so nice. What do I gotta do? How do we get my hair? I'm like, I can't give you a gray streak like that. It has to grow naturally. I'm not bleaching you one. So if you don't have it, we just got to work with what you have. Or we have to wait a few more years and see if you get any more gray and see if it comes in like a cool pattern. I think that as long as your gray is shiny and nice, the pattern that you get is going to be beautiful enough. And stop trying to be like everybody else's gray. Just because you don't got a streak doesn't mean your gray is not going to be good. Like, we got to stop that. What you have is good, okay? What comes out of your head is good. It's fine. It's beautiful, okay? It's like your own stamp in the world. Maybe someone will see your hair and be inspired by your gray. Maybe someone wants a gray patch in the back or on the side. That could be cool. It doesn't always got to be in the front, and it doesn't look good on everybody either. So think of the way your gray growing out is like your own special fingerprint. No one's is going to be like you. You are an individual, and what you have is beautiful too, okay? I just want to say that, because I think a lot of us don't really know all of our magic and all of the things that we have. And people, if you can wear yourself, do you know how powerful that is? Like, if you think of yourself like a Louis Vuitton bag or something, like, I am like fly. It does not matter what she got, because you're you, and what you are is enough. Now, a little bit of background about gray, because no matter what it looks like, gray hair is very wild. Okay, and I'm gonna tell you why it's wild. A lot of people tell me, oh, my gray is just so, I don't know how to manage it. It's so crazy. It just does whatever it wants to do. I'm gonna give you a little scientific reason, and then we're gonna wrap this up. So, gray hair is only cuticle layer. where hair that has pigment in it has melanin inside. So melanated hair has a few cuticle layers on the outside, and then the inside is soft and pliable. Gray hair has no melanin, and it's only made up of cuticle layers. Cuticle layers are hard. It's like what creates the shape or solidifies the shape of your hair. It's almost like the glaze on wood or the hard exterior, or you know what it's like? It's like a loaf of bread, but like the outside is like the crust and the inside is all soft and doughy. That is what hair is like with melanin. Hair without melanin is just like if you had a whole loaf of bread and it was all crust. You cut it open and it was crust. And you know, when you have a hard piece of toast and you try to chew it, it like cuts all the roof of your mouth all up. Well, it does that to me. So I don't know if that was a very good analogy, but you guys get what I'm saying. But that's why your hair is so wild when it's gray, because there is nothing soft and pliable, and you only have hard, wiry hair that does whatever it wants to do, and it feels super coarse and crazy. So I hope that gave you guys a little bit of insight about gray hair. But before I go, I do have a listener question, and that question is from Karma C. And her question to me was, let me pull it up. Okay. Is there a difference between a hairstylist, a beautician, or a hairdresser? If so, what? So I'm going to give you the Brittany answer, and then I'm going to give you the researched answer. I think I'll go with the Brittany answer first, and then I'll give you the research answer. I'm going to give you the research answer. The research answer is a hairstylist is a term that refers to someone who specializes in cutting, coloring, and hairstyling. Hairstylists often focus on creative styles, trends, and techniques, and may work with complex hairstyles. A hairdresser is a more traditional term, and it usually refers to someone who performs a broader range of hair services such as cutting, washing, styling, and sometimes coloring. It's often used synonymously with hairstylist. Beautician. This term is broader, referring to a person who is trained in various beauty treatments, not just hair. A beautician might offer services like makeup, nails, skincare, and sometimes hairstyling. All that kind of makes sense. But if someone was to ask me this just on the street, like, what's the difference between a beautician, a hairdresser, and a hairstylist? To me, hairstylist is your modern day hair go-to hair person, right? Like, that's the person who you're going to go to a salon, get whatever trend shown the pictures, give you like what you want in modern day. Like they're giving the styles, they're giving the cuts, extensions, like all of that. Beautician to me sounds, some people even call me a beautician sometimes, which is fine. But I do feel like, like I'm kind of young. Like, why are you calling me beautician? So beautician to me just seems like I'm older, and like maybe it's considered more of like under the realm of cosmetology. Like I'm a confidant in more than just hair. Like you could ask me about like makeup stuff and styling and clothes and just what I think of beauty in general, if you look at it like that. But it does feel kind of old-ish to me, and usually older people say beautician to me. So it could just be what maybe someone older would think of as a hairstylist, like back in the day. But if somebody called me hairdresser, that to me just feels very 1950s roller set. It's very like sculpted styles. Maybe was just somebody who did like coiffed hair, like Marilyn Monroe had a hairdresser, or, like maybe Oprah back in the day, she had like a hairdresser, like somebody who did some very uniform work. But a hairstylist is still a hairdresser, but sometimes it just feels a little more formal when someone says a hairdresser. Like maybe you only, when I think of a hairdresser, I think of like Vidal Sassoon, or somebody who still wore like I don't know, super like suits and like super tailored clothes and stuff to the salon, which I always admire those people because I think it's top notch. I'm working every day to like mentally get to that point. But when I think of hairdresser, I think of like the ultimate hair professional, but like 40, 50 years ago. Now, hairstylists are like super more chill, laid back, and modern and cool and really up to date. But these days, I definitely would be looking for a hairstylist. That's it. Beautician, maybe if that's the look you're going for, but I think hairstylist, if you want to be like up to the times, that's probably what I would ask for. If you ask the wrong person for a beautician, you might just get one. Or if you ask for a hairdresser, you might just get one, and you may not want a quote unquote hairdresser or quote unquote beautician. So that's all I have to say on that. I hope you guys learned something today, and you really think about what I said. When it's time for you to go gray, consider your mental state of mind and what you can and can't handle and what you will and won't do. Also, where you're at in life. Are you single? Are you dating? What do you want? What do you want people to perceive you as? What do you want to perceive yourself as? Like, think of those things before you go gray and before you make any hair decision. Like, just save yourself the mental terror that picking the wrong hair choice can do to you. Okay, so thank you everyone for listening. If you listen to me on YouTube, please like, share, and subscribe. If you are listening to me on Spotify, please like, rate the show, download, and share. And if you are on Apple Podcast, please rate the show. It's so appreciated. You guys know I'm trying to like get this thing off the ground. So if you like my content, please share with your friends. The more the merrier. Like, I would love to talk to everyone. There's so much more to come. I have so much more to share. And I really just appreciate everybody who takes their time to listen to my little podcast. So please email me at yourewelcometosit@gmail.com. I would love to hear from you, and I will talk to you soon. Have a great one. Bye.